Delivered by the one and only Stuffed Crust Pizza from Pizza Hut. Get a large one-topping Stuffed Crust Pizza, and we'll stuff the crust with the gooey, melty, delicious cheese. Order now at pizzahut.com. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Lakers basketball is a final.
877-710 ESPN.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now.
Here's Allen Sliwa.
The Sixers over the Lakers, 126-121, the final score. Lakers now 31-42 on the season. Philly, 45-27. Appreciate the effort from a lot of these Laker players. Dwight Howard, 24 points and 8 rebounds. Westbrook, 24 points, 8 assists, 9 rebounds. Carmelo dropped 20. Also had 7 boards, by the way. And Malik Monk, 23 for the Lakers, along with 2 steals. So 4 different players score over 20 points. You're trying to do it without LeBron, without Anthony Davis, without Talen Horton-Tucker. Of course, that's an incredible challenge in any game that you play, but even more so against a team that's got a chance to come out of the Eastern Conference. We'll see what happens with Joel Embiid and James Harden as we get to the playoffs. But 126-121, Lakers played 48 minutes. It's the best way that I could put it. They were hustling out there. I think there's a group of guys that understand. I'll get into that in a little bit here. A group of guys that understand that if they're going to get playing time, it's going to be specifically based on effort, doing what Coach Vogel's asking them to do, making the extra pass, hustling on defense. And I think you got a group of guys that understand that. The older veterans are getting less and less playing time. I'm talking about the Trevor Arizas, the Wayne Ellingtons, the Kent Bazemores. A lot of those minutes are starting to come towards some of these younger players for the Lakers, and I think so far they've delivered. I'm not telling you that it's a win, and I'm not trying to make a case here that Lakers all of a sudden have changed things around, but you appreciate the effort here over the last 4 games, and certainly tonight without a lot of your big guns. Need a break from the everyday? Fantasy Springs Resort Casino wants to give you a 2-night stay with dinner, golf, or bowling for 2. Be tonight's best caller and win. 877-710-ESPN. Visit FantasySpringsResort.com to book today. Okay, a couple things we're going to do here. If you want to call into the show, you're just leaving the arena, you're listening obviously in your car, on the app, or any of our social platforms, 877-710-ESPN. 877-710-ESPN. You can give your thoughts on tonight's game and the Lakers' performance. We got a lot that we're going to get into tonight, plus we'll preview a big game coming up against the Pelicans on Sunday. This is a little unique. Lakers don't typically have 3 days off. They won't play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They'll get back in action on Sunday, and that game will be in New Orleans. That'll be part of another 3-game road trip for the Lakers before the month closes out, and we know Lakers have some challenging games in front of them. But before we go any further, I do want to take a listen here. This is Stanley Johnson. So Stanley Johnson on the Lakers' 5-point loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. Stanley Johnson ended up with 13 points, 8 assists tonight. Here's Stanley.
And carry that into this game, even though you were shorthanded without LeBron specifically?
I think it's important just in general. Obviously, in the situation that we're in, our goal is championships, and it's still there. And we're trying to put the work toward things so we can, when we get to the space, in the playing game in the playoffs, that we're ready playing our best basketball. I've been here since December, and I'm just starting to figure out Winion just got here 2 weeks ago. He's playing a lot of minutes, and we've been in and out of lineups and stuff like that. And hopefully we get AD back here pretty soon. And Bron's been in and out of the lineup, so it's been a little tough figuring out strategically, running a play, because all our stuff is around AD and Bron, you know what I'm saying? So it's tough in that fashion, but if we play with that type of effort, I think, especially me, I got to be a little better with little small things defensively, offensively to help our system keep going the way it is. And for us, there's no win tonight for us at all, but the effort is something that we can continue playing like that, and we can use that later going on, is what I would say.
You and Winion both start tonight, and of course you came to the team this year in a similar way. What have you noticed about him and kind of the way that you guys and your athleticism, your length, your defense can help this team?
I think the league's turning toward, the Raptors, we just played against them. It's 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 6'9", 6'10", and then a couple skill guys. So those guys are here. Those guys are around. Tobias Harris, James Harden, guys that play both ends of the floor, elite offensive players, and you need guys that can match them athletically to defend guys like that. So having another guy that's at that level, I think we have the best in the league with LeBron both ways. So the more guys we can throw in and help, Russ and everybody, AD, Melo, all those guys, keep our system alive, the better.
Kind of going off of Mike's first question, you think back a week and a half ago, you guys are down 21-2 to Toronto.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like anyone was very happy with that effort. What has changed about this team to kind of turn things around from that point? Because it seemed like the competitive juices were just dead at that point.
Yeah, I think we're grown men and we're professionals. So at the end of the day, it's not acceptable. There's no team on the planet that should be blowing us out, and especially not in the first 4 minutes of a game, 5 minutes of a game. So when it gets egregious or when it gets that, you have to look at yourself. It ain't nobody else, man to man. I think we all looked at ourselves and we're going to change it. And then we had that game, we played better than that game. And I think since that point in time, we've changed it, and that's kind of what you have to do as men. We have to change it. Nobody's going to play us softer. There's not going to be a better. We have a great game plan. We have great coaches. So we had to change it. And I think the effort level and just the attention to detail. Not saying that we weren't doing it before. I just think we're executing at a higher rate than we were before. And it's like, and especially in the league, it's marginal. It's like, two or four more times could help you erase a 10-point lead or a 10-point gap in points. And that's kind of what it is. It's like 2 possessions and then it blows up into because people make threes at this point and one. The people are so athletic. If you give away a couple of possessions, those things can string together and you're down 15 before you even know it.
Did anyone lead that effort in the locker room, you think?
I think all our leaders did. Russ, Bron, AD, Melo, TA, Bazemore, all the veteran guys, they know what's up. They're looking at us like, come on, we got to do our jobs. To a man, everybody. Playing or not playing, everybody. So I think that was encouraging.
Stanley, there's been a lot of preaching, staying in the moment from your leaders, coaching staff. The moment ahead of you is a big game in the standings against New Orleans.
Yeah.
How do you view it? How does this team view that, considering where things are for the play-in tournament, considering some of the games you've played against the Pelicans earlier this year?
I think we're going to lace our shoes up and go out there and play some basketball. That's the only thing we can do. I think we're pretty good. So I think they're pretty good too. And that's why that's why I love playing competitive basketball is for these type of games. This is what we're playing for. So we're going to lace our shoes up and they're going to lace some shoes up and we're going to play some basketball.
All right, that is Stanley Johnson right there. By the way, we don't get to hear from Stanley Johnson too often. Really refreshing, actually, to hear from him. I like how real he is with reporters. I like the way he described tonight's game, that, yes, the effort was great, but we still got an L. And I like the way he kind of hyped up that Pelicans game coming up on Sunday. Listen, Laker fans, nobody, if I'd have told you before the season started, I'm talking about a game in late March that's hyped up against the Pelicans for the number 9 spot, we'd all be sitting here saying, what the hell happened this year? But that's the reality. That's where the Lakers are, so you got to make the best of it. Got to make the play-in tournament. Obviously, that's priority number 1. But also, can you have a home court? Can you have a game here at Crypto.com Arena for that potential one and done? It's not really one and done. You got to win 2 in a row to eventually get into the actual playoff tournament. But I sit here, and as we hear somebody like Stanley Johnson describe what that game's going to be like, it is a big one. It really is. Pelicans have one less win than the Lakers do. They got a game coming up against the Chicago Bulls tomorrow, but you could be walking into that game on Sunday with both teams virtually tied at 31 and 42. We'll see what happens. We're going to take some of your phone calls when we come back. Phone number is 877-710-ESPN, and we'll get a chance to hear from Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. Stay right here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
With Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo, tacos or burger?
Burgers.
Pineapple on pizza?
Sometimes.
Favorite cheat meal?
Pizza.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Kung Fu Flicks.
Funniest player on the team?
Dwight.
Teammate who thinks he's the funniest player on the team?
Nobody really thinks they funny.
Your favorite superhero?
I'm a Captain America guy.
You got to match the initials too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a Captain America guy.
from tonight's Lakers game.
And your reaction on the Lakers line.
Powered by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
Tonight's player of the game is presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Joel Embiid tonight leads the way for the Sixers. Ends up with 30 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 block shots, 11 of 19 from the field. Plays 34 minutes. No surprise or shock. He's one of the best players in the NBA. Could potentially walk away with the most valuable player award by the time this season's all said and done. So Embiid carries the Philadelphia 76ers 126-121, the final score. Before we go to Lakers head coach Frank Vogel, I do want to take a few calls. Let's start off with Joe in the Inland Empire. What's going on, Joe? Thank you for calling in.
Hey, how you doing, Allen?
I'm okay, man. Thank you.
Yeah, today I'll say A for effort. I'll give them that. You know, without LeBron in the roster, you know, it's hard to muster up points. But today they brought all the hustle and as many intangibles as they could bring. So I'll say the last 5 games we have figured out how to move the ball, how to get something going on. Russell Westbrook has actually looked fantastic. I look forward to LeBron coming back, and if we can't get AD, you never do know. You know, we might actually have 1% chance, and that 1% chance could get you the lottery. So.
Well, here's the thing, Joe, and I appreciate you calling in. There's a couple things. I'm not going to tell you that over these last 4 games that I think the Lakers found something, but what I will tell you is there are players that are getting a lot of minutes that you're not going to question, okay, is Wenyen Gabriel going to give it everything he's got? Of course he is. Is Austin Reeves? Of course he is. Stanley Johnson? Absolutely he's going to. Go down the list. Russ, I don't think we ever question, okay, how's Russ's effort? That's never in the conversation or in the dialogue or anything along those lines. But if I could say what I think the Lakers have found, they found some youth that's willing to play to get, I guess you can say, get dirty, get rough, put themselves in a position where they don't care. They'll just scrap for 48 minutes because it's not just that you're fighting for the Lakers. A lot of these guys are fighting for another opportunity to play potentially with another team in the league. DJ Augustine is another example. So at the absolute worst, what I think you found over these last 4 games, the guys that are getting the minutes, the effort's going to be there. You're not going to question that. I think the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, if you guys remember this was the start of the 4-game road trip. Lakers got punked in Minnesota. And we've seen that a lot this season. And that's got to be so frustrating, not just to the team, the organization. How about just the Laker fans that are watching these games and saying, the hell's going on here? So I think from that perspective over the last 4 games, they've shown that part. Now, you get LeBron James and Anthony Davis back in this lineup. Now you got true talent. Then we'll see what the Lakers can do. I think it's okay to have a little bit of hope or that 1% chance that you're talking about. The problem is all season long we haven't had that opportunity. So to get a little bit of that, I look at that as a good thing, not a bad thing. Let me grab another call here. Daniel in Santa Monica. What's going on, Daniel?
How you doing, Al? Thanks for taking my call. You know, I've been calling in all season long. I appreciate you all taking my calls. But, you know, just real quick, just shifting gears a little bit. We're 10 games away now, going into the play-in. We got guys, like you're saying, Wenyen Gabriel and Stanley Johnson, Austin Reeves, who are actually making other teams feel us, you know, and work on the other, both ends of the court, which I really like. But my question, I got 2 quick questions is, you know, going into play-in and potentially against, the guys going to be in the rotation over like the bigger names like the Melos and the Arizas and the Monks, because I feel like those other guys, while I really do respect their careers and their games and what they've done elsewhere, I feel like what you're saying, these young kind of Bulldogs are, I think, giving us a better chance really to really kind of scrap and maybe come out with a W. And then a follow-up question about, I really like Vogel. I think he's a great coach, but something that's kind of taken me off guard this season a little bit is just it seems like we haven't had a semblance of rotations. I get the injuries, I totally do, but I do feel like there's got to be like elite adjusting and finding the guys that are giving us the best chance and then riding with them instead of kind of taking Dwight out for a handful of games. I feel like he only really got on the court lately because other guys are out, right? And I just feel like there are guys I think that could help us. Yeah, sure, we might not be the top 3 seeds in the West or even the East, but I feel like we have pieces, and these guys got to get reps together, obviously in practice and in game situations. I just feel like we're not really getting that.
Daniel, I'm going to jump in, but stay on the line here. Stay on the line here for a quick second. Funch is going to grab your information. Congratulations, yours tonight's Fantasy Springs Resort Casino best caller. Just a quick 2-hour drive to the Palm Springs area for championship golf. World-class entertainment, 24-hour Vegas-style gaming, nightclubs, and hotel. Visit FantasySpringsResort.com to book today. Let me react to that one real quick, because I think the question of, hey, are you taking minutes away, is one of these young players taking away minutes from, let's use Carmelo as an example. If Carmelo's only playing on one side of the floor or he's not having a good game offensively, somebody justify to me why he should have more minutes than a guy that's hustling his butt on defense and is playing smart basketball. I'm using Carmelo as an example. The Trevor Arizas, the Wayne Ellingtons, those are not even conversations anymore because those players just haven't come in and really impacted the game or impacted it on the defensive end. If you're not delivering, you shouldn't be on the floor. The Dwight Howard piece, I've always had a difficult time understanding why they don't use him more. Let's use a game against the Washington Wizards. Porzingis was having his way against the Lakers, and the Lakers were going small in the fourth quarter. He puts up 16 points. Lakers get outscored by 14 in the fourth, and they blow a game that they should have won. No Bradley Beal, no Kyle Kuzma. So that piece I have not fully understand the proper rotation of the way using Dwight Howard, but I think they should use him more. They obviously haven't used him more, and that part I think has been frustrating for a lot of Laker fans. Let me sneak in one more quick call here. Okay, that call's out. Let's take a quick listen here. This is Lakers head coach Frank Vogel on the 5-point loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. Here's Frank Vogel.
Frank, just curious your overall perspective on that in the context of coming off the way that you guys were playing on the trip, no LeBron, and if you think there's something now that could be sustainable as you move into this last stage.
Yeah, we're making progress. We're building the habits that are going to win for us in the postseason, and we're continuing to grow. I think this game, we're disappointed we lost, but without Bron, without AD, I think the group that played tonight showed everyone that we still got a whole lot of fight left in us. And I was proud of how we competed. We continue to evolve. And, when we get to the finish line of the 82 games, again, we're not going to be the same exact group that, played 10 games under 500 basketball. And that's the goal is what can we build that's going to win for us in the postseason, in the playing game. And, we're making progress with that. It was, we fell short tonight, but pleased with the effort.
Frank, everyone can see what you're talking about in terms of the effort and the grit that these guys are playing with. But on the flip side of that, there still is kind of this race in the play-in, and San Antonio got a game closer tonight. They're within 2. You've got this matchup with New Orleans coming up that could end up being significant. What is the push-pull of liking what you're seeing in terms of progress, but also knowing that it may not be coming at the rate you need kind of in the race for the position? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, we got to win as many games as we can, but you play this game without Brown and AD, and you compete the way you did. You're proud of the effort and the fight. And what you're looking for is signs of life for our group that we're going to have a belief and confidence that we're going to get in those playing games and win those playing games. And I feel good about where we're going and where our direction is and where we're going to be 9 games from now.
Considering where the standings are right now, and I know between now and Sunday things could shift, but the team you're playing on Sunday, New Orleans, are half game behind you. It's kind of a play-in before a play-in, if you will. What type of challenge does that do for your group?
Yeah, I mean, we got to win those games. And obviously, somewhat similar to what you would face in a playoff. You know, you're gonna play them once, make some adjustments. You play them again shortly after that, and then likely, you know, if we're able to get in, not discounting, you know, San Antonio, if we're able to get in to that playing game, play them again a third time. So, you know, hopefully our group's collective playoff experience will pay off for us.
Frank, this is sort of related. You know, when we talk about the plan, it's probably going to be 2 games for you guys, and this is a group that hasn't won consecutive games in quite a while. Has there been do you think, a mental hurdle with any of that? Has it been bad luck? Has it been, you know, I mean, it's been.
Well, we're hopeful that those 2 games are going to be played with Anthony Davis instead of shorthanded, adding guys, you know, off the waiver wire and trying to get through. So again, you know, we can look at, you know, how we got to this point, or we can look at who we're going to be when we get to those games. And we believe in who we're going to be when we get to those games.
Frank, what did you like about what Stanley did for you guys, both on offense and defense?
Stanley was great tonight. You know, anytime you play against a guy like James Harden, you know, you have to work your tail off to guard him, but you have to go back at him on the other end, you know, and I thought Stanley did a great job of that, you know, to start the game, you know, really set a tone for our group in terms of, you know, we're going to attack these guys with, you know, aggressive offensive basketball as much as setting our defense. And, you know, I think he guarded James tonight as well as anybody can guard him. And I thought he did a hell of a job.
Frank, last time you guys played in this building, you know, that was that ugly Toronto start. You guys were down 21-2. And, you know, I think we asked you at that time, you know, do you still believe this group can compete the way you wanted to compete at the end of the year? And you said yes. But did you kind of feel like, was that related to things you were seeing on the court? Or was that sort of the message that you wanted the guys to just pick up on, and you were just waiting for them to actually see?
Calling me a liar.
I'm just asking. I think it's a fair question.
Look, we have our flaws. There's no question about that. It doesn't shake my belief, one, that a team of talented guys around LeBron James can win any game. And what we can build going into the playoffs. If you put our 2 guys back together who've not been together all year, Anthony and LeBron, okay, with the addition of Russ and talented role players we have on this group, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen it really all year. Okay, so you asked, you know, if I believe that our group still has fight. I think we showed that the last 4 games with how we played. We're 4 straight games over 25 assists. I believed it then, and I still believe it now, yes.
All right, that is Lakers head coach Frank Vogel. Let's do a couple things when we come back. We'll get a chance to hear from Russell Westbrook. We'll also get a chance to hear from Dwight Howard, and we'll preview this upcoming game against the Lakers and the Pelicans coming up on Sunday. So appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Stay right here. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Seconds with Trevor Ariza. Trevor, tacos or burgers?
I'm going to go with tacos.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Favorite cheat meal?
Ooh, peanut butter and jelly.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite Saturday morning cartoon growing up?
Animaniacs. Animaniacs.
Funniest player on the team?
Goofiest would be Dwight.
Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Lakers postgame show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game.
And your reaction on the Lakers line. Try Pizza Hut's Double It Box. 2 medium, 1 topping pizzas. So they can choose what they want and you get the taste you enjoy. Only at pizzahut.com.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Allen Sliwa.
All right, Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Vista Paint, Lakers win Points in the Paint battle 66-60, but they lose the game. Final score tonight, Philadelphia 126, Lakers 121, now 31-42 on the season. 4 straight games for Russell Westbrook, where I feel like offensively efficient, been much more productive. 10 of 20 from the field tonight. 24, 8, and 9 were his stats. Don't get me wrong, can't have 7 assists or 7 turnovers. Way too many turnovers for Russell Westbrook. But the Lakers fought. Russ obviously a big piece of this game as well. Let's take a quick listen to Russell Westbrook, get his thoughts on the Lakers' 5-point loss.
Hey, Russ, Stanley and Frank were both speaking to the collective energy and effort that's been built up the trip and was clearly evident tonight. Just what you think the main thing that's been behind that as you guys kind of zero in now on this final stretch before the potential play?
Figuring out, how we are supposed to play. And when we do that, regardless of who's on the floor, we give ourselves a chance to win.
Russ, Frank's talked about the trial and error nature of this season, and obviously you guys have tried, so many different combinations over these 73 games. What is it about this group and the guys who've been playing, and a lot of guys who weren't on this team at the beginning of the year, that seems to have found at least a little bit of mojo and has been working over these last 4 games?
I think the most important part is guys are kind of sliding into their roles a little bit better and learning. I know it's end of the year, but, I think guys are doing a better job in having some confidence and keeping it and being able to make mistakes and then playing through them and keeping a positive energy, which I thought was good tonight. A lot of guys collectively left it all on the floor against a really good team at full strength, and, we had a chance to win the game.
Russ, I think we've pretty much established that this whole group, this entire operation of the season, it's about what happens at the end. That's where your collective mindset is at. Sunday's game is not the end, but it's kind of a dress rehearsal. It's a team that's directly below you in the standings. Both of you guys are fighting for play and positioning. What does that game present in terms of a challenge for this group?
It's a game that we definitely want to win. And I think if we have our mind set in the right place and do what we've been doing, playing the right proper basketball, I think we put ourselves in position to be able to win the game. And, it's going to be a playoff type of atmosphere for us because it's definitely a must win, I believe, for our group.
Russ, there's been obviously a huge – did you get it? There's been a huge start-stop kind of nature to this whole season. You guys haven't won consecutive games in, I think, like 2.5 months at this point. What's that been like, kind of yo-yoing with momentum and not momentum? And is there a mental block, you think, with this group or anything like that in these games? Or I guess kind of how do you account for that?
I don't pay any mind to it.
Russ, the last time you guys played in this building, obviously really disappointing start against Toronto. Stanley was saying that, we really had to look in the mirror, look at ourselves as men, ask more from ourselves. What did that game mean, and how has it contributed to how you guys have played, especially in the last 4 games?
Starting the game better. I think that's a big thing. We put ourselves in the hole a few times, having to fight back. But last 2 games did a good job of starting the game the right way, proper way. So.
All right, that's Russell Westbrook right there. By the way, that's each one of these guys, whether it was Stanley Johnson, it was Russ, or Coach Vogel talking about the importance of the game coming. I like it. I'm starting to get hyped up for Sunday's game. We haven't had too many games where it feels like there's a playoff atmosphere to it. This is one of the first ones that we're going to have this season, and it doesn't matter. I know we wish the conversation wasn't about fighting for the number 9 seed, but that's the reality where the Lakers are. Dwight Howard on the night for the Lakers had one of the better games, 24 points, 8 rebounds. I've said this a number of different times. He was 9 of 14 from the field. Really almost went toe-to-toe with Embiid tonight. I've said this a number of different times that I think Dwight deserves more playing time, should be out there more, especially the Lakers have struggled on the defensive side. Let's get his thoughts on tonight's game as well.
Dwight, you've spoken to us a lot about energy and effort this season, and it would seem like it's at a much higher point than the last time. What have you noticed as that's built? How have you guys kind of found something there, and where do you think you can take that to as you move forward?
Well, I think our last couple of games, our offensive energy, the bursts on offense have been great. On the defensive end, doing a little bit better job. Still some areas that we need to clean up. But the fact on the offensive end that we're actually playing with pace, finishing around the paint, getting to the free throw line and making plays and stuff like that. We got to continue to do that. Defensively, they put us in some pretty good situations tonight to make us have to, really use, our intelligence to try to stop them. So, they did a good job on the offensive end.
Dwight, just in the last 4 games, what has inspired, in your opinion, just sort of the energy turnaround, the competitiveness turnaround from the team? Because last time you guys played here against Toronto, that was a very rough effort.
I just think that, we just, guys are really trying to find ways, to be effective on the court, and we're trying to play off each other. And, it took a good chunk of the season for us to, kind of figure certain things out. But it's been working to our favor as of late. We just got to get that defensive push in, and I think that'll really get us going.
Dwight, you've, I think, been to the playoffs 12 times in your career. Can you think of a team, a playoff team that's been this deep into the season and still trying to find some of the stuff that this group is trying to find? And if not, I guess, why are you encouraged that there's still enough time?
Well, I'm never going to give up. I don't think any of us feel like the season is just over with. We're going to do whatever we can to make it, We know it's not been the season that we've all wanted. And it took us a real long time to really gel. But I mean, there's nothing we can do now but just stay positive and keep fighting. Then we got 9 games left, something like that. Next 9 games, just try to do whatever we can to win those games. And hopefully in the play-in tournament, we just really hit our stride and start winning games.
Dwight, Sunday's game in New Orleans has all sorts of play-in tournament implications. What about that challenge? What do you think that will do for your group where it currently stands?
When we go out there and play, solid defense for the beginning of the game, in the first quarter, have a great push in that third quarter against New Orleans, and then in the fourth quarter, we should have the momentum by then. But, we know that they're not going to just give us anything. No team has given us anything all year. So if we want to win that game, we got to go take it. And, it's going to be a tough game going in their home, but, I know Laker Nation will be behind us, and we should get a good win.
Dwight, over these last few years in your career, you've had to adjust to different roles, and sometimes, like obviously the nights start, have a big game. There have been times where you haven't played, and there are a lot of guys on this team now, on this very veteran team, who are having that experience. And right now, the group that's working is a lot of guys who weren't on the team at the start of the year, or guys who maybe didn't expect to have big roles. What's the dynamic been kind of as that shifted? And at this stage in the season, it's the vets who are kind of taking a back seat. Stanley was adamant, it's kind of an all for one, one for all type situation. But as someone who's been through it, like, what's it been like to kind of see this team kind of figure that side of it out?
I mean, well, obviously all of us want to play and, contribute on the floor. So it's been very tough for us at different parts of the season, where it's like we're playing and we might not be in a rotation, might miss a couple games and stuff like that. And then we might be asked to come back and play the next game, even start sometimes. So just got to always be ready, got to stay professional. It's very tough mentally, to miss games as a vet, and then, come back and play. But, at this point, whatever we have to do as a team to win, we got to be able to sacrifice and do it, no matter how much it might hurt us individually. We just got to stick to it.
All right, that's Dwight Howard right there. Appreciate his comments there about sacrificing for the team, doing whatever the team needs from him. But I got to be honest here, I wish he got more playing time. I really do. I think when he is in, he does impact the game, and we'll see. We'll see how the Lakers eventually use him the rest of the way. And some of these other players they've been using, the Stanley Johnsons, the Wenyen Gabriels, the DJ Augustines, the Austin Reeves, you're seeing an interesting mix that the Lakers are depending on a night-in, night-out basis. Okay, couple things here. Number one, our next broadcast is not until Sunday afternoon. Lakers in New Orleans versus the Pelicans. We'll do our pregame show at 2:30. Tip-off will be set for 4 p.m., so keep that one in mind on that front. That's the next Laker game we got is coming up on Sunday. Tomorrow, tune in all day, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. I'll be on with Travis Rogers from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Quick shout-out here internally. Thank you to Michael Funches, Rebecca Womble, George Briones, Wilbert Flores, and Carlos Saisu, everybody internally here making it happen. Thank you for being a part of the show. I'm Allen Sliwa. This has been the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers basketball tonight. Game 58 of the season is in the books.
Lakers basketball on ESPN LA is sponsored by Subaru of Glendale, the #1 Subaru dealer in America. Lakers basketball.
Delivered by the new Spicy Lovers Pizza from Pizza Hut. A fiery fusion with layers of flavor. Only at Pizza Hut. Order now at pizzahut.com. Lakers basketball.